Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Fiesel. I'm your host of The Edge on IC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. You also find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications, and Abundant Television found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Okay, spring is in the air. It's finally here. Summertime should be here just right around the corner, and we're all planting the gardens, or maybe we would just like to have some pollinators in the yard, to just see the beautiful essence and the flowers it protects. And also your beautiful garden is going to grow crazy if you have some pollinators. So let's talk about that just for a few minutes. How in this world, how do I want more pollinators in the garden? Yes, I do. So how are we going to get them there? Let's get some pollinators going. I found this really neat website, and I love this. Is one of my go-tos right here. thefarmgirlgabs.com. So I found this really neat article. It's how to attract pollinators into the garden. You may not have bees like I do. We have honeybees, and so we're beekeepers, and I'm going to tell you, since I started doing that, I have noticed a huge difference in my crop output in the garden. But what if you just don't want to have beehives? You can still have bees, okay? So let's talk about a little bit how to do that. So attracting those pollinators can be other than honeybees. Is one of the best things you can do to help your garden produce more food. I am a true testimonial to that. While you may know that pollinators are important, many people are surprised to learn just how much better their gardens do when they make that little special effort to make sure the gardens are friendly for bees, butterflies, and hummingbirds. So let's talk about that. Why are pollinators so important to the garden? Extremely. They're vital for your plants to produce. Now, without pollinators, the flowers will die off without making any fruits or vegetables. If you're looking to save seeds for your plants, you need pollinators to make those seeds viable too. That's another thing, collecting my seeds. I've noticed a huge difference. While some plants will self-pollinate in the wind, even those plants can benefit, and they grow more profitable when your pollinators jump in to help with that production. So let's see how we can do this. Okay, how to attract more pollinators into the garden. Each little thing you do can helps make that garden more inviting to those pollinators. It'll help your garden thrive, and you can help keeping more steps every year until you have a wonderful pollinator-friendly garden. So plant more flowers. That's one of the bottom lines right there. For the more flowers in your garden, the more your pollinators are actually going to want to go and visit your garden. Absolutely. Another great option is to plant a wildflower bed near your garden to help provide food for native pollinators. So, absolutely, the more flowers, the better it's all going to be. Now, to help keep pollinators coming to the garden and to help them feed so the population can go up, you want a continuous succession of blooms, because you're going to have some, you get your little fair weather ones. They're beautiful when they do bloom, but they're not long lasting. So you want to kind of have it in, how should I say this, in little steps. So you're going to know that maybe your sunflower is going to produce a certain amount of time, then you got maybe something else, your roses or whatever. So you want to make sure you got everything going. Now, the first flower of the season is what? It's a wildflower, and it's beautiful, and it's a daffodil. That's going to be the first food crop for your bees. And so from daffodils to mums, there are flowers that bloom in each part of the season. Now, this is one I got to argue with. This one says, leave the weeds in your yard. But it does say yard, not the garden, okay? All right, now while Phil does not like that idea, he likes to cut the grass. He's the grass cutter around here. He has to take care of two lawns. He takes care of our lawn and our other house where Mother lives. So while you should keep the garden beds weeded, make sure they have enough room for the plants to grow, you should consider leaving weeds in the lawn. Common yard weeds. Now, I agree with this. Like dandelions and clover are amazing food sources for bees and for butterflies. Having a yard full of blooms helps attract those pollinators to the yard who will happily spend more time making your garden beautiful and have lots of food. Add a hummingbird feeder. This is awesome. Many people do not think about hummingbirds, but they think about pollination, but these small birds are great for pollinating the garden. And even eating all the unwanted insects like aphids and ants. Yeah, let's get rid of those things. Helps attract these pollinators to your garden. Just be sure to add a hummingbird feeder. While and you make sure you keep it clean too, by the way, or they won't come back. Restock about every couple of days the food you're going to put in that planter. That's going to keep your beautiful butterflies and hummingbirds just going wild. Build a bug house. Icky bugs, yeah, they're really important. So bug houses are a great way to invite your beneficial insects into your garden, including solitary bees that will act as pollinators to keep that garden thrive and help it thrive. Make sure the bug house is made of natural materials that have not been treated for chemicals. And that could hurt the insects you want to keep in the garden. Yeah, there's some you actually want to keep in the garden. Provide a safe water source for pollinators. Bees and butterflies get thirsty too, so you need water for survival. Many of these small creatures die each year just trying to get a drink and lose their footing, so add a watering dish that has rocks in it so there's plenty of space for them to stay dry while they're taking a drink. Yeah, they can drown. You don't want that to happen. We'll do this for the bees. One thing I like to keep is sugar water. Okay, and this is when, you know, they're not out there pollinating and that kind of thing. So getting close to the fall time of the year and maybe even in the hot summertime, I like to keep sugar water for them. And it's really simple to make. You want to do 2 to 1 ratio in the summertime or when you start losing some of your pollinating flowers. So what I'll do is use hot water. And so I want, let's say, 2 cups of water to 1, or 2 cups of sugar to 1 cup of water. Make sure you stir it and mix it up really well. That sugar needs to really be dissolved in there. And then I have a little, it's just out of a just regular mason jar, but then you have a lid on it. It has tiny little holes in it. And then I have this little feeder I put to the bees, and then you just turn it upside down and it just works with gravity. And what happens is the bees get in there, they get plenty of sugar, they get plenty of hydration, and that keeps them happy. Now, I also have little areas of water that they can go pond. Now, they can go to the pond also, but I like to keep them close by. So I'll have just little dishes that have water with rocks and stuff, just like she said right here. And it gives them a footing. It gives them something to sit on without actually drowning. Now, you got to keep it clean, okay? Because it can get gunk and funk and stuff like that on it. So do keep that going, okay? They get thirsty, so you got to make sure that they can have plenty to drink. Now, plant more of the same plant together. I never really thought about that, and I'm really, really glad I saw this because I'm about to plant some more things outside. Plant more of the same plant together. So, excuse me, I have asthma. So when you plant a big patch of the same thing, you're making it easier for the bees and the butterflies to pollinate your plants. So if you do not have room for this, you can take advantage of gardening methods that put more plants together in a smaller space, like a square foot or vertical, excuse me, garden. Flower beds and pots with many of the same flowers are also great for attracting the bees in the yard where they can further explore. So they've got all kinds of area, but a vertical garden is a fantastic way to do this. So, and you can find plenty of these. Go to Amazon and find them, and they're very inexpensive, free shipping and the whole works. And so it's kind of like this pole that goes up, and then you have different little pots that are around it. Vertical garden. So even if you don't have a big area, or if you'd like to keep some pollinators out there on your deck, and then you have flowers and plants and stuff around, vertical garden's the way to go. Okay, plant plenty of native plants, and that's the thing that I'm into right now is native plants, because guess what? If it's a native plant, it's going to grow easier. Less maintenance, okay, and that's what we're all for, less maintenance. Plant plenty of native plants. Pollinators are native to a specific area, so this is just another reason you want to do this. And they tend to gravitate towards native plants that they're best suited for. Now, this doesn't mean that they will not seek out your other stuff, but it also means that adding native plants to the yard and garden will help attract more pollinators, which is what you're really wanting into the garden, where they will continue to work. Now, what plants are great? That's always the big question. Okay, so I hear about all this kind of stuff. So what plants are really great for attracting pollinators? Where can I start? Okay, you can actually start with milkweed. Now, this plant is essential to helping the monarch butterflies thrive. This endangered butterfly prefers milkweed and will visit your garden, where they'll lay their eggs on the plant and pollinate other flowers within the garden. So milkweed's a really good one. The coneflower. Okay, coneflower is a popular purple flower that attracts butterflies, also has medicinal benefits, and we're going to talk about that on another show. Black-eyed Susan. Guys, I just love yellow flowers. I'm attracted to yellow flowers, so I'm wondering, are pollinators attracted to yellow flowers? Attracted to all of them, but what's best known? Okay, this flower is well known for its ability to attract bees and butterflies. Make it a favorite into your garden beds. What about morning glories? Let's talk about that. So you want a flower that will attract bees and hummingbirds while not taking up a lot of space. You can't go wrong with this classic morning glory. It can be growing up a fence, over an arbor, or a trellis, leaving just like little cute walking areas inside your garden as well. So morning glory, I didn't know that. Morning glory is another good one. We have to go into a commercial break. So let's talk about what not to do when you want pollinators in your garden. I can write a book on lots of things on what not to do because of mistakes I've made. Okay, so we're going to talk about that when we come back. Be right back in a minute. The only place I buy my beef is Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama. Their cattle is born and raised on their ranch, grass and grain fed, and you can feel confident when you serve your family and friends because their beef is all natural and no antibiotics or hormones are added. You can buy whole beef or perhaps go in with family or friends and buy half. Their customer service is number one as they take care of the delivery to their local processor and can deliver to your home for a small added fee. They also offer herd replacement heifers. I always call Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama for my beef specialty recipes and cookouts, and you can too. Food shortages are increasing, so buy local by calling 256-523-6462. That's 256-523-6462.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring, but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer
yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.
At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. Jeff McCurdy of the McCurdy Law Firm has been a public service of this area for over 10 years. McCurdy, a member of the Henniger City Council, serves as prosecutor for the town of Sylvania and was named public defender for the city of Rainsville. The McCurdy Law Firm is located at 17326 Alabama Highway 75 in Henniger to better represent his Jackson and DeKalb County clients. If you need to be represented by a true public servant with proven success, call Jeff at 256-996-8701 or send a private email to mccurdylawfirm@gmail.com.
No representation is made that the legal services performed is greater than the legal services performed by other lawyers.
At Liberty Bank, we're all about community, whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need. Toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender. Let Rhonda at Rhonda's Elite Tax LLC take the burden off you for all your tax needs. I know because Rhonda has been taking care of my business since 2013. I feel Rhonda works for me because she knows the direct questions to ask to better benefit my unique business in order for me to get back the biggest refund possible. Rhonda is an ongoing student, and she knows tax laws are in a constant change every year. Call 256-281-9903 for an appointment to take the dread out of getting your taxes done. Rhonda is located at 11968 U.S. Highway 431 in Boaz. Again, that number is 256-281-9903. And let Rhonda's Elite Tax LLC champion your personal and business taxes. Good afternoon. We are back. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of The Edge on IC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. You know, you can find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications, which is North Alabama. You can also find us on Abundance Television, which is syndicated worldwide. You can find us on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Again, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget that podcast network, netnewsnetwork.net. Let me start all over with that. A lot of nets in it, right? netnewsnetwork.net. And make sure you check out that Amazon link right there. You're helping us when you buy things through Amazon. It's helping us to keep the show afloat. So we appreciate you doing that as well. All right, so we're back from the break, and I promise you we're going to talk about what not to do when you want to keep pollinators in the garden. Again, I could write a blog on that all the time. And by the way, when you are planting your flowers, let me tell you something you need to keep up with in your garden. And this can be about anything. So my friend Loretta Roger made this for me, and I keep tabs of everything I do. Okay, this is what I did last year, Saturday, August the 20th. Make sure you put the date on there. This is telling me what I want to do. I want to plant my midsummer garden, or midwinter garden, and so this is what I needed to do and when I needed to do it. Okay, and kale, when was the best time for me to plant kale? And this is about my bees, and it was an article about that I had written and I wrote about, and it was dry Swiffer sheets. Use that, it helps keep mites and things away. And this is when I had a chicken egg incubator, and it was how long you need to keep those chickens in the incubator and that kind of thing. And bees, the recipe for sugar candy. And it's what we did with this recipe was 8 pounds of sugar and 32 cups of water. And so what I did there, Phil built a little compartment over the beehives, and that's how we fed the bees in the wintertime, so they didn't have to go anywhere and explore anywhere else, and they stayed within that beehive. So always keep a little diary, and thank you, Loretta, for making this book for me. She's actually made several of them, and this is my gardening one. As you can see, the tree of life right there. So this is my gardening one. So anyway, thanks, Loretta. You're a huge, huge help and a grand friend. Okay, now what not to do. I promised I'd get into that. Do not buy your plants from a big box store where the seedlings are planted from one state to another. This is a must. Now, these plants are sprayed, and they have to be. They're sprayed with harmful pesticides, and this helps prevent the spread of harmful insects from one to the other. That's why I'd rather go to a trusted nursery. And I'd rather get my seeds from a trusted nursery as well. Maybe not a big deal, but it is a big deal to me. I just feel like I'm okay that way. Now, these chemically sprayed plants often kill off bees, and we don't want to do that, and other insects that land on them in the early days after planting. This can be harmful to bees that are desperately searching out food at the start of the season. You need to check out Baker Farms, Cheryl and David Baker, and that's where I have some of my plants also. Go to facebook.com. I'm not sure Cheryl has a website. Go to facebook.com, and in the search section, just type in Cheryl and David Baker and then Baker Farms. You'll find it that way as well. And she keeps up to date. She does videos. She does all kinds of wonderful things. Cheryl Baker is a good friend of mine too. And so you're not going to have to worry about, are the pesticides on it? I mean, she actually sells to proven winners. And if that tells you anything. And so this girl knows what she's doing. Has degree after degree after degree from Auburn University. She actually wrote this book from the Master Gardener's book as well. She knows her stuff. She knows exactly what she's doing. Okay, now another thing, do not use pesticides that are harmful to beneficial insects in your garden. Using organic pest control options like neem oil and attracting insects that act as predators is the easiest way to keep insects under control without harmful chemicals that will kill off the good insects with the bad. Okay, so you don't want to do that. You want the bad ones gone, but you want to keep the good ones. Do not clean out your garden beds too soon. More and more people are realizing that beneficial insects like butterflies and ladybugs are wintering over in the fall leaves, the garden beds, and old plants. This helps to keep these small creatures. It gives them a chance to avoid cleaning everything out for a year until after things have warmed up just a little bit and new eggs have had the chance to hatch. And I'm going to read this to you again. This is extremely important. Do not clean out the garden beds too soon. Again, more and more people are realizing that beneficial insects like butterflies and ladybugs are wintering over in the fall leaves and the garden beds and old plants. To help give these small creatures a chance to avoid cleaning everything out for a year until after things are warmed up a bit and the new eggs have had the chance to hatch. Absolutely. That's a good one. Okay, there are some tools that actually can help you to dig in. And these are tools you can find on the Amazon link right here as well. Gardening gloves are a must. And let me tell you something I do in addition to using the gloves to save what fingernails I do have. Get a bar of soap. Scrape it with your fingernails. Okay, that's going to be your soap. It's going to help clean. It's going to help you to clean your nails. Okay, so you're not going to see weird stuff and take forever, because you'll wind up, if you don't do this, this is what you're going to wind up doing. You got to go to church on Sunday, and you've been working out in the yard all day on Saturday. You're going to have funky looking fingernails. It's going to look dirty even though they're clean. So I like to scrape with a soap. It just saves me cleaning time. So I scrape it and then I put on my gloves. Saves your hands, saves your fingernails. Gardening seat might be something good to have. Now, I have the raised block gardens, the concrete blocks, not cinder blocks, but concrete block garden. And so I'm bending over a bit, but it's not like down on the ground. Garden kneeler, those are good to have. And you can get those like at the Dollar Tree for $1.25. And it's just made of some kind of, I don't know, some kind of rubber, I think. And you just put your knees on it, and it's going to save your knees. Gardening guide, you need a watering can, and you also need a hummingbird feeder. Don't forget about that. Okay, now, let's see. And this is such good stuff. Let me see if there's some questions. Sometimes they're going to have a few questions down here, and I don't see... I hear somebody who says, I'm really glad you're here. I'm glad you're here too. This is the farmgirlgabs.com. And actually, she is really good. Okay, now let's talk about if we've got time. I think we do. I think we're going to be able to do this. Let's talk about 10 hardy perennials for summer gardens. And these are also going to help you attract bees. Now, I have to be really quick with these because I want to get all 10 of them in there. Okay, let's see. Black-eyed Susans, we talked about those earlier, and I'm going to show you what a black-eyed Susan looks like. bees love it. All your pollinators are going to love that, along with the hummingbirds as well. Okay, so what's next? Okay, the coneflower. We talked about this one just a little bit earlier. And also, take a look. I'm going to show you the black-eyed Susan. See that black right up there? That's going to be full of seeds that you can either eat or you can keep and plant in your garden for a little bit later. What I'm going to do next year, I'm going to prepare a long area along the back. It's going to be full of sunflowers. It's going to be sunflowers all the way across the back of the yard. And we got a big yard. So that's one of my big to-dos that I'm going to do next year. And that's going to attract more pollinators. It's going to also attract hummingbirds, which is a pollinator. Okay, now that cone flower that you see right here, it's also seeds. Have your own seeds. Do you realize out of one sunflower or out of one of the coneflowers right here, you'll have enough seeds to last I don't know how many seasons. So as they are getting older and as they're drying, you want to take them off the stem. You want to put them out somewhere where they're going to stay dry, and also the if the rain is not going to be attracted and rain them all out, because then you got to dry them all over again. So if you get them and clip it off, let the flower dry, and then save those seeds. Oh my goodness! I don't even take them off of the flower. Just put them in some a good paper bag. Don't use plastic for this. I used to use plastic. Plastic works okay if that's all you've got. But I'll have to tell you, using a paper bag does the best, because you're going to keep these seeds in the freezer, okay, or in the refrigerator, wherever. You don't want condensation to get on those seeds, because if that happens, you take them out and you don't plant all of them. You put them back in the freezer again, it's going to build up water. It's going to build up all kinds of moisture, and your seeds are just not going to last as long. So again, use paper to do this with, okay? That's the best source for doing that. Okay, it's your coneflower, the Shasta daisy. Oh, aren't they beautiful? I just love daisies, sunflowers, anything. Now there came an ad. Let me get rid of that. Okay, so anything that's got a yellow to me is just a happy flower. All flowers are happy, but especially anything that has yellow to it. Okay, and then the daylily. Oh, that's a must-go right there, you daylily. Right here to the flower. That ad just keeps wanting to come up. How can I get rid of it? There we go. We have daylilies all over this farm, and it's just another beautiful flower. You've got to have that. A blanket flower. Now this is a member of the daisy flower, and it's a colorful blooming flower. It looks kind of like a wildflower. It has shades of yellow, orange, and red, and its flowers are attractive to butterflies, and they're also beautiful in bouquets. And I think that one's absolutely beautiful too. Isn't it beautiful? Okay, the lavender is known for its fragrant aroma. It's a perennial shrub that produces beautiful grayish blue. You can't go wrong with lavender. And yes, you can grow them in North Alabama. I'm going to be doing that next year as well. Okay, your iris is also a beautiful one. Right here, we got lots of irises out here in the yard. I'm going to tell you, my favorite flower in the summertime is a tiger lily. I love tiger lilies. They are just so beautiful, and they're also a very happy looking flower as well. The sedum is a beautiful one. Now this one is more forgiving of sun and bad soil. Okay, so growing it is even if this is your first year of gardening, you're going to be able to grow this one right here. And it's beautiful. It has those beautiful purple flowers on it. The blooms are just gorgeous. sedum. Make sure you remember that one, okay? I'm a little bit over a minute left. I'm going to show you these. The Veronica is another pretty one. It grows in clusters. It's going to be from about 1 to 3 feet tall, and it blooms from spring to autumn. So it's going to be like all summer. It attracts the butterflies and the pollinators as well. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Donna, and I'm your host of The Edge on IC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. You can also find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications, Abundant Television, which is found on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, so we are syndicated there. Also, don't forget now, you got to check out the podcast, and that is netnewsnetwork.net, netnewsnetwork.net. Thank you again so much for watching. I appreciate you doing that. You're the apple of my eye. Can't wait to see you on the next show. Bye-bye.